15th of June 2016 was the darkest day of my life. Honestly, I had given up. Honestly, I had thought of ending my life, ending things for me for many years before that. But by the 15th of June 2016, I had gone past the should I to how do I. It was the darkest day for me. But by the 16th of June 2016, I was so joyful. How did this happen? Watch till the end to find out. Hi everyone, I'm Rashmi and I'm here to share my faith journey with you. First, let me give you some backstory. So, how did I get to this place in 2016 at 28 years old? Please, if you looked at my life from outside, I had a great life. We had a thriving family business. I was healthy, at least physically on some level. I had a good education. I had a beautiful family who loved me. So there was really no problem as such. Yes, I had this deep desire to get married and have children, and that had not happened yet. But really, other than that, I was on the outside. It ticked all the boxes that the world says that you need to be happy. So what happened? Why? Is most people's question. I think the story starts long time ago when I was actually in my mother's womb. My mother was already widowed at that time, meaning her first husband had already passed away. He had taken his own life, and that was, of course, very traumatic when she was pregnant with my older sister. So a few years later, she met my dad, got married, had me, but there was this huge unresolved trauma in her life that she was still carrying, this huge wound, obviously. So then she has me, and she's not the most present mom because this huge negative experience that she had gone through and difficult circumstances in her life, and she did her best. Please, my parents did their best. I love them. I am so grateful for them. They did their very best. I had a beautiful life, actually. I had a good family. I had food on the table. I had all these luxuries in my life. I had a privileged upbringing. But through all of that, the enemy found a way to attack me when I was young. There were attacks that came that tore my sense of self, because it was such a violation. So somehow the enemy crept in there, and I think those things added to the darkness and the dark cloud that was descending upon my life. And then by the time I was around 11, my parents decided, let's move to a whole new country. And that was traumatic for me. Already I was struggling, and now I'm taken away from everything that I know, from my family, from my friends, from my school, to this totally foreign land. And we were there for a few years, and honestly, that did not work out for me. So if I was here, I sunk down here. And then I was around 14 when my parents first recognized, okay, I need medical intervention. So they started me off at that time on my first course of antibiotics. And over the years, through my teenage years, through my 20s, it was in and out of these spells of being on antibiotics. On antidepressants. And not only that, there were times that my parents would take me back after I relapsed, because you relapse even worse after you've come out of a course of antidepressants. They even did ECT, which is where they put you under general anesthesia and they shock your head to get your brain waves up. So actually that leaves you even more confused and dazed, and it totally messes with your system. You can imagine 2 electric nodes on your forehead. Yeah, that still happens. That's a treatment that they are trying, because these people, the people who are suffering, they're desperate. Medicine needs to do something. They can't just be like, let them suffer, right? So they do what they can to try to help, but sometimes it makes it worse. So this was going on for a good 14 years. And during that time, I had eating disorders, I had anxiety, rejection issues, shame issues, bad choices, drinking, partying. Honestly, towards the end, I think I was an alcoholic, because I used to just go out and down drinks because I just couldn't take the pain of my existence. I used to wake up in the morning and my soul was on fire. And in my late teens, early 20s, I was in a relationship that was very abusive, physically, mentally. And that probably went on for 2-3 years, and that broke me down further. And the thing with trauma and being in those situations is, it's really bad. It's not like you can just walk away. It doesn't work like that. Because they treat you so badly and they love bomb you. So now you become weirdly obsessed with them because they are messing with your head. And it leaves you like a totally broken person. So you can imagine, over the years, through all these experiences, bad choices, the shame just loads on. And what I believed in, the background my family was from, we were not Christians, like we did not know God, was, okay, well, if you do it, you have to suffer through the consequences. It's all on you. If you do good, you'll do good. You get good. If you do bad, you'll get bad. But now I understand that when you are a child and you go through traumatic experiences, you are not equipped to make good decisions as an adult. That's crazy. Because sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes it's not your fault. So what about that? And I remember from a very young age, like 11, 12, I was looking for forgiveness. This word called forgiveness was something in my mind that I was desperately needing. And I was so young. Because I told you, there was an infringement into me, a violation of my being that I needed release from. And then I couldn't find anything that I could get release from, that I could get cleansing from, that I could get forgiveness from. So from that young age, I was very much aware that in my future, I'm just having doom and gloom and terribleness. So I think that was also one of the reasons why I was depressed. So all these things, they compound onto you as a person. And that was the day where, it had come to take its payment, which was the 15th of June, 2016. I could hear the voices. Do it, do it, do it. You don't have to suffer like this. You don't have to suffer like this for other people. They'll deal with it. It's their problem now. You just release yourself. That was the thinking that was behind me. And I could see now, also I have understood soul fragmentation. It's a real thing where your soul breaks and it shatters. Let me read what Google actually says. It's a spiritual and psychological state where trauma, severe emotional pain, or harmful experiences causes a person's psyche to break into pieces, similar to a shattered glass. So you're trying to put these band-aids on something that's already not whole. You're literally a broken person. The Lord Jesus says in Luke 4:18, He has come to heal the brokenhearted. It's not like you're sad. This is literally, what if literally it means it's brokenhearted, means your heart is broken, like into pieces physically. But you can't see it because it's also like a spiritual thing. So I believe that's why medicine could not do anything for me. So coming back on that day, I was done. I was like, I cannot be drinking like this. I cannot be partying like this. I just cannot be depressed like this. I cannot burn in pain like this anymore. And I remember seated on my bed. It was a Wednesday. And I'm thinking now, what is the most poisonous substance I could find? And somehow I pick up this newsletter. It was a brochure. I somehow picked it up because it's pink color and it's on my bedside table. And now looking back, I remember it was on the table of one of the ladies who were working in my business. So I had somehow taken it off her table and I had kept it on my bedside table. Maybe it was there for months. I don't remember. But somehow this day I had taken it and I had started reading it. And this had a story. So now I know it's called a testimony. We have a testimony. We have a story of how God touched our life. It could be the first time or it could be at any point of your Christian journey. So this story was about a young guy who was also in the same position, who had been actually in the same position I was in, was ready to end it, but he wanted to go and apologize to God. So his parents had been overseas and then they had been urging him, go to this service, go to this service, go to this man of God, he can help you, because they knew that he was suffering. So he had gone to this service and it said that, he was prayed over and he was fine now. And I still remember he said in that write-up that although the circumstances of his life were the same, he was happy. I was like, how is this possible? I have tried to change every circumstance in my life. I've tried to live here. I've tried to live overseas. I've tried everything that the world says will make you happy and nothing has worked. It has cost me my life. And now I am here with my back against the wall. That's where circumstances have brought me. So, and it is not by accident that this was exactly on a Wednesday. I call the number on that brochure and I speak to a lady and she says, yes, the service has started. It started at 6. I kid you not. I look at the time and it's 6:10. Like I can see it in my mind's eye. It was a red clock and it was 6:10 on the Wednesday. The service had started 10 minutes ago. This service that I'm reading about where this other guy got killed. So I was like, okay, can I come? And she's like, yeah, you can come. So I really cannot remember the specifics of it, but I remember I got up and I went downstairs and I go to the road and I get a rickshaw. It's a 3-wheeler. It's a red one. And now I think back and I'm like, oh my gosh, the blood is red. God save me. So anyways, I will come back to that later on another video. So this 3-wheeler, I get in and I'm crying, I'm broken. It's like years and years of pent-up pain just pouring down my face, and I'm sure I freaked the guy who was riding it, the driver. He must have been like, what is this crazy lady doing? And I go to the place where they had the service and I go in and they welcome me and they give me a seat. Now I'm seated and I'm bawling, I'm crying, and I'm totally broken. And the man of God comes on and he shares a message, and I think it was something along Jesus Christ being the great physician, but I'm not totally attuned because half my mind I'm like, what's going on, what's going to happen, because I don't know anything about these services or Jesus or anything. Like, what are they trying to do to me? What am I supposed to do? And how do I get healed? How does this thing happen? And then he has something called an altar call. So an altar call is when the man of God calls up people with a certain issue for prayer to the altar. So I did not know what an altar call was or like what's going to happen. So I was a bit apprehensive the first time he called me because I'm already still crying. I look terrible. I'm like a crazy person. So I was like, okay, there are thousands of people here. Do I really want to go up? What if they tell me to tell my story and I don't want to share it in front of all these people because I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed. And then he calls us again, and the second altar call is almost like, I was taken really. And I remember standing at that altar and I was so broken. I don't think I've ever been that low and down in my life. I had no hope. I just wanted things to end, and I don't even know why I was there. So eventually he prays for so many people and it's my turn, and he comes and puts his hand on my head. And I am telling you, I felt the power of God. You might ask me, what did it feel like? It was like electricity. It was like a power I could feel flow through my head from where he has kept his hand, flow through me and into the midst of me. And I felt something come together within me. I felt a physical wholeness, a physical repairing of something that was broken inside of me. I felt it. They say you can argue with a man who has an argument, but you cannot argue with someone who has an experience, because nothing someone can tell me can take away what I experienced to be true. And I remember I went home, I slept, and the next day when I woke up, I was fine. I was completely fine. I had no depression. I did not feel sad for no reason. I was not wondering, like, why am I alive? I was not wanting to drink. I was just completely fine. I was happy, actually. I was like, what is this? And then I started going to church regularly and, learning the word and growing in the word. So that 10 years later, now in 2026, I thank God that nothing that I experienced before 2016 has ever touched my life since then. No depression, no thoughts of wanting to end myself, no thoughts of I need to drink to make myself feel better, like nothing. I was completely healed, and I'm still healed, and I live a very joyful life. And at that time, my life was so hopeless. I had no purpose. Now I'm full of hope. I'm full of purpose. I'm a mom to a beautiful girl. I'm a wife. I run businesses, and life is thriving. He did not heal me and send me back to be the same way that I was. Because he says, I came to give life, and life in abundance. The Lord Jesus in John 10:10. And this life he's speaking about is the Zoe life of God, which is God's original plan for life, which we do not have if we do not have him. This is a life of wholeness. This is a life of healing. It is a life that's pulsating with life. It's a life that is thriving. It's beautiful. It lacks nothing. This is God's original design for life, not the suffering, not the pain, not the brokenness that the world tells us is life. And I'm here to share my testimony with you because I know there are many women who have experienced or who are experiencing what I experienced. Honestly, before I was healed and I know Jesus, everything that could possibly happen to a person had happened to me. I was so broken. I was rejected. My life was worth nothing. But now I am a new creature. My life is beautiful. And I want to share this with you. And I want you to take this journey with me. Please subscribe to my channel. I will be uploading weekly videos to help you also navigate this journey, and maybe what worked for me might work for you. I have a solution that worked for me so beautifully, so I don't want to sit on it because it's not mine. I have to share it. It's too good for me to hug it. In my next video, I want to share more about, so how does this thing work? What is this thing about Jesus? What has he done? And how can we access this? Why can we access this? I will be sharing all of that with you because I am here to give you answers. I'm here to share my experience with you because I look at my life in the last 10 years and it has been incredible. God has done crazy, amazing, marvelous, and wonderful things in my life. And I want to share that with you because we all should be thriving. Because we are all precious to our Heavenly Father and He loves you. He says, come to me all who are weary and heavy laden with responsibilities, with stress, with children, with brokenness, with trauma, with shame, with rejection, with lack, with confusion, with depression, with anxiety and possession and oppression and abuse. Come to Him. He is there and He has made a way. If you're new to my channel, I would love to get to know you. Please let me know your name, where you are from. Tell me a little bit about yourself.